Hello everyone, this is Dr. Milind Gajvi and we'll be talking about research papers or research publications. You see, this is a part of certificate course in research methodology. Particularly, it is designed for all the students of science at master's levels, that is MSc students. So all the students from A group and B group must understand the importance of research publication or research paper. Basically, taking this topic, the objective behind taking this topic for discussion is that you will be having a dissertation work in the next semester, probably in the next or the last semester. So you will be doing a project work, and in order to carry out that particular project work, which is a part of research, so you will be doing a little research under that title of dissertation or project. So you will be given a task and then you need to work on that task throughout that year or say for 6 months. So basically, in order to carry out that research, a small piece of research, you need to understand the meanings of research, and the first step in that will be to decide or to prepare a proposal for your project work. That means you need to decide the problem, you need to decide the objectives on which you want to work on. So in order to search for that particular topic for your project, you need to understand the importance of research paper, because this is going to be a resource for all of you to collect the material, and that material you will be utilizing for the writing of your research project. Of course, you will be assisted by your guide, but the basic understanding of this research paper, research publications will be very useful for the referencing work. So in all, these research publications are going to serve you a lot. So research publications, you will be understanding, it will be very useful for you to understand the problem, to decide the objectives of your project, and to understand the basic methodologies and what will be the possible outcome of your project. All these things you will understand from reading of all these research publications. So, considering the importance of these research papers or research publications, let us first go through the definition of research. You might have understood, or some of the other speakers might have explained you about the meanings of research. So, we'll just quickly go through the different definitions of research. Why to perform a research? So research is carried out in order to discover something. Research is carried out in order to invent something, in order to construct something. So in all, the simplest definition of research is it is a search for knowledge. So whatever the knowledge which is currently available, so you are adding more and more information, so that you are updating that particular research area. So a search for knowledge, it is the simplest definition of research, we can say. There are several definitions which we can go through. Another one is, it is a scientific and systematic search. So it is a system, scientific system for pertinent information on a specific topic. Specific topic means your research area, your specific subject area on which you are working. Research, it is an art of scientific investigation. Now you see, in this definition, the word which is getting repeated is scientific. This is basically because this lecture is particularly organized for all the science students. So therefore, it is not that research cannot be performed in arts or commerce faculty. It is performed in arts and commerce faculty, but due to the reason that This is a group of science students. Therefore, I have included these several definitions in which this word you will be finding it repeatedly. So, research, it is an art of scientific investigation. It is a careful investigation. Now, you see, investigation, the word is again getting repeated. So, it is an investigation means you need to perform several experiments, you need to do experimental work. It is a careful investigation or inquiry, specifically through search for new facts in any branch of knowledge. Now, this is applicable for all the faculties, arts, commerce, and science. It is a systemized effort to gain new knowledge. Again, a better definition. So, roughly what we can say, it is a movement from the known to unknown. So, the facts which are not generally known in relation to discovery, in relation to invention. So, a journey from known to unknown, we can call it as research. It is actually a voyage of discovery and inventions for the full understanding of the unknown. Now, these two words are very important. First one is discovery, and second one is invention. There is a difference between discovery and invention, which we'll understand in next few slides. So, therefore, this inquisitiveness, interest, curiosity, imagination, keenness, it is the mother of all knowledge and the method which man employs for obtaining the knowledge of whatever the unknown. It is a quite complex definition of research. So, in all, what we can say, we see here that research, it consists of these many stages. The first one is defining and redefining the problem. This information is going to be very helpful for you in order to design a research proposal, in order to design a proposal for your dissertation work. So, first step is to define a problem. That means you need to decide the problem in which you want to perform the investigations. Second one, formulating hypothesis or suggested solutions. Third one, you need to work on this, perform the investigation, collect the data, and then collection, organizing, and evaluation of data. So after collecting that data, arrange that data, followed by analysis of that particular data. Then we go to the fourth step, that is making inferences and reaching to the conclusion. So whatever the data which you have analyzed, so you will come to a particular inference or conclusion, and then you compare your conclusion with your initial hypothesis. So whatever you have predicted, whether you have reached to that particular prediction, to particular hypothesis or not, that you need to check out in the last step. So at last, carefully testing the conclusions to determine whether they fit the formulating hypothesis. So whatever the hypothesis which you have formulated, whether you have reached to that or you have some contradictions, that you can put. So you see that whatever the hypothesis which you have formulated, it is not necessary that your conclusion be exactly to that particular hypothesis. There may be contradictions, there may be some errors as well. So you need to put that result or conclusion as it is, whether it deflects from your hypothesis or whether your hypothesis is rejected or accepted. So finally, research is therefore an original contribution to the existing stock of knowledge. This means that already the information is available on that particular topic. Already the researchers are working on that particular problem, this problem, but you have taken that problem to add something more. You're suggesting something more. You are adding something more knowledge to that particular problem, resolving that particular problem. You are adding some additional solutions, making for its advancement. This means that even if you are working on problems which are already described by different researchers, still now the question arises why you are working on the same problem. This means that that problem does not have sufficient solutions, and still it has a scope for more and more solutions. So this is very important to understand. Performing the research is not repetition of research. Repetition means something, whatever is done by the researchers earlier and you are repeating that. No, it is not that case. You are not repeating the things. You are utilizing the experiences of those researchers, and out of that, through your working, you may come to new solutions. So finding out new solutions, finding out new ways, it is the major objective for performing research. So therefore you can understand better from here that research is not a repetition of the work which is earlier carried out, but you are adding knowledge, some new knowledge to the existing stock of knowledge. So you are working for its advancement. This word is very important. You are working for its advancement. Therefore, it is not a repetition of research. So in short, the search for knowledge through objectives and systematic method of finding solution to a problem is research. So from this we have you might have got a little idea about exactly what you are going to do under your dissertation program, under your project work. Going into further details, let us briefly see what are the different types of research. We are not going to deeply discussing all these different types. This is just for your knowledge that research has divided into several types, and these basic types of research are as follows. The first one is descriptive research and analytical research. So descriptive research, it means it includes the survey, inquiries, and fact-finding inquiries of different kinds related to that particular problem. So the major purpose of descriptive research is the description of the state of affairs as it exists at present. So basically this is very important in social sciences. Then applied research and fundamental research. So basically the students from applied sciences, they will be more interested in applied research. So this applied research is important fact of applied research is that it is beneficial for you get mankind or environment. It gets some kind of benefit out of this research. The outcomes of this research are beneficial. So applied or action research, it is called as action research. Second one is fundamental research. Fundamental means it is a basic research, or it is a basic a pure scientific research. So applied research, it has an aim of finding a solution for an immediate problem. So you have a problem, then you are searching for a definite or the possible solutions for that particular problem, which will be beneficial for a society or for an industry or for business organization. In contrast to that, the fundamental research is mainly concerned with generalization. So it is a general research and with the formulation of a theory. So gathering knowledge for knowledge sake, it is termed as pure research or basic research. So whatever you are learning so far in theory, whatever you are learning, whether you are a student of computer science, mathematics, statistics, whatever the theories, whatever the general science that you are learning, it is all called as basic science or pure science. It is a result of fundamental research. Third one is quantitative research and qualitative research. So as the name indicates, quantitative research, it is numerical research. That means you gather information in terms of number, in terms of quantity, and therefore we in that kind of information it is called as numerical information. So you better understand numerical. So it involves the measurements of quantity or amount. In contrast to that, qualitative research is related to qualitative phenomena that decides the quality, and in contrast to the earlier one, it is based on information obtained in non-numerical form. So non-numerical information that involves the quality or kind phenomena related to quality or kind, it is called as qualitative research. Then other types are conceptual and empirical research. So conceptual research, it is related to some abstract ideas or theories. So generally it is a kind of research performed by philosophers or thinkers, which is more related to the arts faculty. Whereas empirical research, this is very important because most of us are working on empirical research. So empirical research is the research which relies on experiences or observations. So actual research, whatever the actual facts we find, based on these actual facts, our actual experience or observations, we are drawing conclusions. That is called as empirical research. This is very important because we will be performing most of the research of this kind. So it is a data-based research. That is what you are going to do in your dissertation work, a data-based research, coming up with conclusions which are capable of being verified by observations or experimentation. This is what you are going to do. That is empirical research. There are many more different types of researches. So it is not that the research may be of single type. It may be of mixed type. It may be quantitative as well as qualitative, along with empirical approach. So it can be. So whatever the different types which we have seen, they can be mixed out to come to a final conclusion. So this is just for the sake of our understanding. I have separated different types of research for the sake of understanding only. But at actual when we work, all these are intermingled or all these are mixed up. Okay, then the reason why we carry out research is because research leads to discoveries and invention. We need to understand what is the meaning of discovery and what is the meaning of invention. Construction of something new, construction, it is called as invention. Something which is already existing in nature and you are finding out that particular, you are disclosing that for the knowledge of others, it is called as discovery. Say for example, searching for a microorganism or bacterium from saline soil. You are isolating that particular bacterium, you are extracting that bacterium. So that bacterium is already existing in nature and you are finding it out, you are disclosing it. It is called as discovery. There is a plant variety which is there in some forest or rare forest and you are disclosing it, you are finding it for the first time. That plant variety is not been reported by any of the researchers. It is called as discovery because it is already existing in that particular forest. You are finding it for the first time and you are giving information to the readers for the first time. It is called as discovery. There is a piece of land hidden somewhere, no one knows. You found out that piece of land and you have disclosed it. That is called as discovery. So discovery is something which is existing already in nature and you are disclosing it for in front of people. It is called as discovery. In contrast to that, invention. So apart from whatever which is naturally existing, apart from that you are constructing something new. It is called as invention. For example, for computer science students, programming, it is an invention. For physics, chemistry and electronics students, you are designing a particular circuit, you are designing a particular program, you are designing a particular compound. For chemistry students, you have a novel pathway and through which you are mixing up the things and you are creating a chemical compound. So if it is a new compound, then we call it as invention. Quite difficult for microbiology, basically for biosciences students, because plants are not inventions, bacteria are not invention, but still the methodologies that you create, like you use some bacterium for the production of certain compounds, so that methodology that you are designing, it is a kind of invention. So it is not that in biosciences inventions are not there. If you are creating something new which is other than natural, if it is natural, it will come under discovery. If it is not, then it will come under inventions. So the first thing that you will be doing is to decide your research topic. And in order to decide your research topic, understanding research paper is very important. So you will be deciding your research topic, you will be deciding the research problem in collaboration with, of course, with your guide. So for that, you need to read out current research published in newspapers. So all these resources are going to be very helpful for you people to decide your research topic. So you need to read out the current research or the news which are published in newspapers, from which you can get idea of your research investigation. From magazines you may get idea, from books, from book chapters, and of course the most important source from which you will get idea about your research topic are journals, original research papers and reviews. So we'll understand how to read, how to understand the research publications like research papers and reviews in this lecture. So your research topic, it may be related to discovery, it may be related to invention. You can think of that. Then your research topic should be such that there should be something newness or novelty. I told you earlier that research is not the repetition of earlier research work. So whatever the work which is carried out by earlier researchers, you need not to repeat that. You need to find out something new. So novelty or newness, it has to be there in your research work. It may be related to, for example, for microbiology students, it may be microorganisms, habitat in which they are existing. For other students, chemistry students, it may be related to new product For physics, electronics students, computer science students, it may be related to new methodology, new investigation. For botany students, it may be a new plant variety. You are collecting the extract, and that may go to invention. Plant variety, it will go to discovery, but you are collecting, processing that particular extract for constructing something new. It will go to invention. New approaches, new ideas, new techniques. So all these things, it will bring novelty to your uh, project work. So you need to think about that, because unless and until you have newness or novelty in your research work, there you cannot publish your work in journals. You need to have the research topic need to have a potential of data generation. All these things are very important in order to generate tables and figures, because these properties like novelty, potential of data generation, this will increase the value of your research. And if the value of your research is more, there are more chances of publication of your research in papers and reviews, because this is really, it will be really very creditable for you people to publish a paper in a reputed journal, because this is going to help you. It will going to add value, because whenever you are facing an interview, you will be asked, first question you will be asked that at MSc level, what research or what project work you have carried out. And if you show them certain publications that the output of this research work is this research paper, then of course you will be get additional benefit. The value of your means the interview, it will be more and more influential, and it will be very helpful for you people to grab that particular job in the relation, because there will be a huge competition, and this is going to help you to grab that particular job. So these things are really very important. You need to, while selecting a research topic, you need to concentrate on this, that whatever the investigation that you carry out, whatever the output that you generate, that output should be of good quality, and you can publish that particular data in different journals. You need to think on that. Your research, it may be from applied science or basic science, as we have already discussed. This is very important, which I have already highlighted, that it must have a potential of publication. There has to be a possibility of publication. Fine. Now let us understand what is the meaning of a research paper. Now we are talking about the original research paper now. So it is a presentation of data obtained through experimentation or surveys or inquiries in a concise manner for its possible publication. It is called as original research paper. So as I said, whatever the work that you carry out during your dissertation work, compile your data and publish that data in a particular journal in the form of research paper. So presentation of data in a systematic way, it is called as a research paper. So here we'll be understanding what is the meaning of research paper, and I'll also explain you how to publish your research work in journal. You will understand two things from this lecture, that you will understand what is a research paper, how it is useful, how research papers are useful, how reviews are useful for your dissertation work, as well as you will understand how to publish a research paper after your dissertation work is complete. The question arises, why to publish or why publications are done. So the simple answer to that is for the information of the readers in order to disclose your findings, results and conclusions, so that will add to the knowledge to that particular research area and making it available for others for the reference, so that they can utilize your idea partially and they can do the advancement in that particular research like you are doing in your project work. So this is the addition of knowledge in a particular area of research. People should know about these findings. They can use this as a baseline or as a basis for the next level of research. That is the importance of research paper. Now let us see what are the different types of publications in the journals. First one is full-length research paper or original research paper. So whatever the output of your dissertation work is there, you can compile the data, organize that data, and you can publish that data in this kind of paper, that this kind of research publication called as full-length research paper or original research paper. Second type of research publication in journals is short communication. We'll understand, we'll have a better understanding of that in next few slides. Other research publications are review, correspondence, news and views, notes or research notes, meeting report, research meeting reports in which you have intellectual discussions can be published with good output, novel outputs. Research news are publishable, which are related to conferences, seminars, opinion articles, commentary. These are the several research publications which are published in research journals. Now, particularly, we will be focusing on the first three types. The first one is original research paper, full-length research paper. Second one is review, and the third one is short communication, which will be beneficial for you for your project work. So, full-length research paper. What is it? Full-length research paper that you will find in journal. Generally, it is a descriptive paper which may have a word limit of approximately 3,500 to 6,000 words. So it is up to the journal that decides this word limit. This is in general. I am telling you in general that approximately 6,000 words. It is a word limit for a full-length research paper. It is a descriptive. It is a descriptive. It is in descriptive form. New, and it describes the new and confirmed findings. It describes the experimental procedures, and mainly full-length research paper, it consists of an abstract, keywords, introduction, that is a precise to introduce the subject with citations of relevant literature, materials and methods, results and discussion, acknowledgements and references. Now the research paper, it starts with a title. You'll find that, I'll show you the samples of research papers. You'll find that there will be a title, and that title, it is short, non-descriptive information. It must give the idea of research. It must be concise, informative, meaningful. It should reflect the work, and it should reflect the novelty. So what is new? So regarding the construction of title for your research work also, we have a practical session for that, and in which you will have a better understanding of how to create a title for your research work. Now, of course, here we are talking about reading of a research paper. So this is just an example of a title which I have taken. It is particularly I have taken a broad title for the better understanding of all the A group and B group students. So you may understand this. Nano Silver Incorporated biomimetic polydopamine coating on a thermoplastic polyurethane porous nanocomposite as an efficient antibacterial and wound dressing. Most of the students will understand the meaning of this title. I have taken this particular title because I wanted to show you that the title should be, what should be the characteristic of this title. So this title, it fits in this criteria. It shows the novelty, it reflects the work. You can see that this work is related to designing methodology that includes nano silver particles to prepare dressings that will serve as a dressing for covering of wounds. So this is how the title it should be. There are so many examples that your supervisor may show you, or you will be observing it during your practical sessions. Then after this title in the research paper, the next part followed by that, it mentions about the author names. So what are authors? Authors are the contributors of this research work. All these are the contributors who have contributed in this research in different say percentages, like 70% contribution, 50% contribution, 30% contribution, and so on. So the minimum contribution is 30%, considered is 30%, and maximum contribution considered is 70%, unless and until there is a single author. If it is a single author paper, then you can say that the contribution is 100%. Of course, if there are more than one, then the contribution is divided like 70% and 30%. So authors are the contributors, you need to understand this, who have worked or assisted in carrying out this particular investigation. Now, if there are so many authors, the question arises, what is the contribution? What are the contributions of these different authors? This is just for the sake of your understanding. This is called as the first author, and you can see at the end of the names of all these authors, there is a superscript, that is 1, 3, 2, likewise. So this indicates, these numbers indicates the name of their institutions. So same number indicates that all these researchers are from the same institution. 2 indicates that it is a different institution. 3 indicates a different institution, so on and so forth. First author, it is considered as the main contributor for this particular research work. Then this author, so this is called as the first author, and this is called as the corresponding author. Now why it is called as corresponding author? Because you see, as a superscript, it has an asterisk mark here. So this asterisk mark, it indicates that this author is a corresponding author. Now what this corresponding author does, it has a responsibility of correspondence. That means the correspondence or the communications in relation to the publication of this paper in journal. I repeat, the correspondence in relation to the publication of this paper in journal, that responsibility is owned by this particular author. This author is responsible for all the types of communications, or even after the publication of this journal, this paper in journal, if you are interested in this paper, if it is not freely available, they are asking for money, you can communicate this author. You can send an email to this author and you can ask for this particular paper. Immediately, if he considers your request, he can send you that paper. This is very important. So that is the role of corresponding author. You need to understand the meaning of. So these two authors are very important, the first author and corresponding author. And basically, they are responsible. Their contribution is considered as 70%. And these authors, which are written in the middle, they are called as co-authors. First author, co-authors, and corresponding author. Co-authors have a contribution of 30% unless and until specified in that particular research paper. So 70% contribution, 70% contribution, and 30% contribution. Now, from this list of co-authors, if you see that the contribution of these three authors is neglected. That means in original work, in this work, they have contributed, but at the time of publication, their contribution is neglected purposefully. So this is not ethical at all. This is not legal at all. That means if you have contributed in this research work and your contribution is neglected during publication. So this is not ethical, it is not recommended, it is illegal. You can raise a complaint about this omission of your name in this paper despite of your contribution. You can send, you can do correspondence with the journal authorities so that this kind of illegal things are happen, and that journal will take a legal action and it will ask this corresponding author to remove this paper, or they will accept this paper if the contributions of these authors are considered. Such type of author, this should not happen. It is illegal, this should not happen. So if this happens, then these types of authors are called as ghost authors. They are called as ghost authors. Why I am telling you this? Because your role is going to be the first author for your dissertation work. If you go for publication, you are going to be first author, and your guide is going to be a corresponding author. Sometimes it may happen that the contribution of the students is neglected by such people. Then in that case, you can raise a complaint, and in that case, you will be called as ghost author. So it should not happen. I am telling you just for your knowledge that these types of authors are called as ghost authors. There are some authors whose names are included just for the sake of happiness, or just to make these authorities happy. They are called as gift authors and guest author. Basically, there is a difference between gift author and guest author. Guest authors are the authors whose names are included here just because of their influence, like head of the institution, head of the department. Without their contribution, their names are included because of their influence. They are called as guest authors. Gift authors are different. These authors, they have a great contribution in, they do not have direct contribution, but they may have a indirect contribution. So you are gifting authorship to them as an honor. So they are called as gift authors. Then the next part in the paper is written like affiliation or the name of the institution. So there is a name of the institution you can write while publishing paper. You can write the name of your institution, name of your department, and name of the college, country, pin code, and the area. Followed by that, there is an email of corresponding author who is responsible for all the types of communications. Then there is an abstract, followed title, then name of the institution, and then abstract. Abstract is a concise description of the finding or the investigations. It is a summary. It is a brief summary of about 150 to 300 words. So as I said, according to the type of journal, this word limit will change. So it should give the major findings of the investigation. So this summary, it is written in such a way that there will be findings of investigation under the following 4 headings. It may be written continuously, or it may be written in segments. It is called a segmented abstract. It is written in aims, methods and results, conclusions, significance, and impact of study. So abstract can be written in segments like this, or abstract can be written in continuation that should include all these things. This is a sample abstract which we can see here, which is taken from a journal. It is a segmented abstract in which the abstract is divided into, the summary is divided into 3 segments: background, results, and conclusion. So this gives a description of the problem and the background information, the introduction to that particular problem on which the research is based. Then the second segment, it describes the results, whatever the results which are obtained out of the investigation, their observations. And in the last part, they have described the conclusion. So based on this study, based on the hypothesis, whatever is their inference or conclusion which is written here. So this can be a type of, again we can say, a segmented abstract. There is a different, you can see some types of abstracts which are written in the form of diagrams or images. So the abstract which is written in the form of diagrams or images, it is called as a graphical abstract. You need to remember all these definitions, because all these definitions are going to appear in your final examination of this certificate course. This is just an example which I frequently give in my several lectures. This is how the graphical abstract is given. It is given. So it is a combination of text. It is a combination of text, headings, tables, figures, images, formulas, and text. So this describes whatever is described earlier, but instead of describing it in text, it is described with the help of diagrams and images. So you can see here that there are headings. From this you get a better idea of what is the background, what are the methodologies that you have used. This is the method, this is the method, what are the methodologies that you have used, and what are these results. This is the image for the result. This is the methodology which is used. This is the methodology which is used, GCMS analysis, and this is a result, and after that finally there is a conclusion. This is a very good way of writing an abstract, more representative. It gives more and more precise information about your research work. Okay, this is the another example of the abstract which is written in continuous manner, better understood, understandable by biology students. It is this is the title: Sound production behavior in marine cocklefish, Catla axillaris. These are the names of the authors, and this is the name of the institution. This is the abstract which is written in continuous manner. If you read this very carefully, you will find that this abstract which is written in continuous manner, it gives the background information, the problem, the results, observation, and finally the conclusion. It starts here. Thus the evidences suggested that. This is the conclusion. This is again another example of abstract. You can see here. This is again written in continuous manner. This is a original research paper: optimization of machining parameters for hard machining grid rational relational theory approach and analysis of variance. These are the names of the contributors or the authors, and this is the name of institution, and this is abstract. Followed by abstract, we can see here there are keywords. We'll understand what is the meaning of keywords. And then the next section is introduction. This is again an abstract which is written in continuous manner, better understandable by physics, chemistry, electronics students. So this describes the results, whatever there is the output of the investigation, and finally it describes the conclusion. Followed by that, there are some keywords. So after understanding how to write abstract, you'll better understand it, because that is the task which will be covered during your practical sessions. Followed by abstract, the next part is keywords. So approximately there are 5 to keywords which are described in paper. Now keywords are very important. Why they are called as key? What is the importance of key? So something that unlocks something. So keywords are responsible for unlocking the information, because we will be using these words for the searching of information. So it is a key for unlocking literature. You will be gathering lots and lots of information using these keywords. So simply what we do generally is if you want to know information related to something is what? Keyword. You put that keyword in Google search engine, you put that keyword in some other search engine, you press the enter button, and you get a sea of information in front of you, and that is the importance of keyword. So it is a list of 5 to 8 keywords that should be there in a research paper. It is there in the research paper. So it is important to unlock the information so that it will be available for your referencing. So these are the significant words relating to the research done. These keywords are very useful for searching of your manuscript and for other information. After keywords, we find an introduction section. That introduction section is very important, because this introduction section is very keenly written. It gives the background information about the research. It gives a brief description of the problems which is undertaken for investigation, the problem to be addressed. That problem is described in introduction section. Information to introduce the subject area, and the most important thing is that, which is not covered earlier, all this background information, the descriptions are written in introduction section with quotations or with citations. This word is very important. Whenever you are writing any scientific sentence, it has to be supported by certain researchers. So it should not be written in general. It must have a support of several authors or researchers. Such supports are called as citations. So citations of relevant literature. So whenever you are writing a sentence in your research paper in introduction, it has to be supported by relevant literature. We call it as reference. So such type of references are called as in-text references. You understand what is it? In-text references means the references which are written here in support of some sentences. These in-text references can be written in introduction section. They are written in materials and methodology section. If you are following materials and method, a particular methodology of others researcher, you need to give reference. In-text references are given in discussion section also. So these are the three sections in which in-text references are given: introduction, materials and methods, and discussion. So it supports the idea or research, preliminary background information about the area of research. So all these things are to be described, or they are described in introduction section in a research paper. There can be use of figures and pictures in introduction to explain the problem which is undertaken for the investigation. It also gives the hypothesis. It clarifies the aims and objectives and the purpose of work. So introduction section, it will give you a thorough idea about the research which is being described in the research paper. Background information, hypothesis, aims and objectives, and the purpose of the work. Next section followed by introduction is materials and methods. Now materials and methods, as the name indicates, it describes the materials which are used. Say for example, the plants which have been used in this study, animals used in the study, different types of chemicals, media, different equipments which have been used, microorganisms used in this study, databases or the supporting equipments, software. So all these things which are used in the study are to be mentioned in material section. It is described along with methodology. So it is materials and method. So this section, it describes the protocols, systematic plan of particular experimentation, the steps which are involved in experimentation, the procedure, basically the procedure, like we write in journals, that is, I'm talking about practical journals. So such procedures are written in methodology. These procedures are written in a depth sufficient enough to ensure that the work, it can be repeated according to the details which are provided. And if that work, if you are describing that particular protocol from someone else's literature, or which is already previously described by researcher, you need to quote that reference. You need to cite that reference. That means you are utilizing someone else's protocol in order to carry out your own investigation. So you need to write this. If you don't write this, then it will be a part of it. It will be non-ethical. It will be unethical. Sorry, it will be illegal. If you don't write, it means that you are stealing the work of someone else, and that is illegal. It is an offense. It is considered as plagiarism. There will be one lecture at the end on plagiarism, which is the related to the stealing of scientific data. So if you want to prevent that, if the researcher wants to prevent that, reference it if it is already published. Next section followed by that in research papers is results and discussion. So results, whatever the output that we generate from the investigation, whatever the observations that we get, we arrange all these observations and results in the form of tables and figures. Figures may be in the form of images and photographs. So it may be circuit diagrams, it may be in the form of a program, it may be a photograph of a microorganism, a plant variety, etc., etc. So we generate all this data in the form of tables and figures. So these tables and figures must be cardinal feature of results section, important feature of this results section, because they convey the major observations to the readers who read the paper or who scan a paper. So this information, the output of all these experiments, this information is provided in tables, figures, and should not be repeated in the text. That is very important if you are writing a research paper. And even if you read the research paper, you will understand that whatever the things which are particularly numerical data which is described in table are not described again in text. So the main focus of the result section should be, the attention should be given on the importance of principal findings, the important findings, the major findings of the study. So therefore we can say that in general, the journal papers will contain between 1 to 7 figures and tables. This is I am telling you in general, but there are papers which are written in depth where you may find figures and tables up to 15 to 20 number. That depends upon the criteria which is given, or the criteria of that, the conditions of that particular journal. Discussion. This is a very important section. This is going to test your skill. Writing your results may not be difficult, but the most difficult part in research paper is writing your discussion. This requires a keen study and a very good skill of presentation. So what is discussion? Discussion, it is a comparison of your finding with others' results. So whatever your findings are there, you need to compare your findings with the findings which are already published in by different researchers in different journals. So already published work, we can say that your results are in line with the results of this earlier researcher. So there may be contradictions. There may be, your results may be controversial. Even if your results are like others, you can write that, like that your results are in line with the other research. Even your results are different, you can write that your results are contradictory, your results are different from the other results, controversial results. You may describe that your results are opposite to the earlier findings. And while describing that, you need to support your findings by citation, by writing the contribution, by marking the contribution of other researchers. We call it as citation of references or citation of the literature. So as I mentioned earlier that you need to mention references. There is a mention of references in 3 sections: the introduction section, materials and methods section, and discussion section. Followed by that, the next part is acknowledgement. In acknowledgement, the researcher or the authors, they acknowledge the sponsors of the work. If you get any financial assistance, now in our college you will be getting funds in order to carry out this research work under the scheme of Student Research Project Scheme, which is a funding agency in our college. So you can mention, you can acknowledge that you are thankful to Jaram Chaturchand College for financial assistance under the title of Student Research Project Scheme. You can acknowledge the technical assistance, like the facilities which you have availed from other institutions. Also, you can acknowledge. If you haven't paid for that, you can acknowledge any specific help that you get from the department, from your colleagues, from your friends, from the other students, and from the other areas. And at the last, in the research paper, there is a mention of references. We call these references as end references. So this is in general a structure of scientific research paper.